Chapter 1: The Rise of Fenrir. In the time of myths and the early dawn of the worlds, when the great tree Yggdrasil connected the 9 realms and the gods of Asgard held dominion over the cosmos, there came a prophecy that sowed the seeds of unease among the Aesir. It was foretold that the children of Loki, the cunning trickster god, would rise to bring about the downfall of the gods during the great battle of Ragnarok. Among these children was Fenrir, a wolf of such immense power and size that even the gods themselves were filled with dread. Fenrir was born to Loki and the giantess Angerboda in the dark realm of Jotunheim, the land of the giants. From the moment of his birth, it was clear that Fenrir was no ordinary wolf. His eyes glowed with a fierce intelligence, and his strength grew with each passing day at a pace that unnerved all who heard of it. Whispers of his rapid growth and the dark destiny that awaited him traveled on the winds to Asgard. The gods, led by Odin, the All-Father, decided that action must be taken to prevent the dire prophecy from coming to pass. They resolved to bring Fenrir to Asgard, where they could watch over him and keep his growing power in check. Odin sent for the wolf, and with words of kinship and promises of respect, he convinced Fenrir to leave his home in Jotunheim and come to the realm of the gods. In Asgard, Fenrir was raised among the gods, who were both awed and terrified by his presence. The wolf was treated with a mixture of kindness and caution, for the gods knew that he was destined to be their enemy, yet they could not help but be captivated by his majestic nature. Fenrir, for his part, reveled in the splendor of Asgard and the attention he received, growing ever larger and more powerful with each meal that was set before him. As the days turned to years, Fenrir's size became so great that only the god Tyr, known for his bravery and sense of justice, dared to feed him. A bond of trust formed between the wolf and the war god, one that would be remembered in the sagas for ages to come. But as Fenrir's might continued to swell, so too did the gods' fear. They could no longer ignore the looming shadow of the prophecy. They knew that they must find a way to bind Fenrir, to prevent him from fulfilling his destiny and bringing about the end of their reign. The gods convened and devised a plan to create a chain unlike any other, a magical fetter that could hold the great wolf. The stage was set for a tale of deception and struggle, a saga that would echo through the halls of time. The gods prepared themselves, for they knew that the binding of Fenrir would not be a task easily accomplished, and it would require all their cunning and might to outwit a creature as formidable as the son of Loki. The tale of the binding of Fenrir was about to unfold, and with it, the fate of the gods and the world itself hung in the balance. Chapter 2: The Crafting of Gleipnir. In the hallowed halls of Asgard, the gods convened in secret council, their brows furrowed with worry and their voices hushed with urgency. The need to bind Fenrir was clear, but no ordinary chain would suffice. The wolf's strength was unparalleled, and the fetters they had previously forged, named Leading and Drami, had been shattered by the beast as though they were but strands of silk. The All-Father, Odin, knew that the task required a solution born not of brute force, but of otherworldly craft. He called upon the dwarves, the master smiths and weavers of enchantments, who dwelt deep within the bowels of the earth in the realm of Svartalfheim. These beings were renowned for their skill in creating artifacts of great power and subtlety, such as Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and the golden hair of Sif. Odin dispatched a messenger, the swift and cunning god Hermother, to the forges of the dwarves with a plea for their aid. Hermother traveled through the realms, swift as a shooting star, until he reached the soot-blackened forges of the dwarves. There, he delivered Odin's request, and the dwarves, intrigued by the challenge and the promise of honor it would bring, agreed to craft a fetter that could bind the mighty Fenrir. The dwarves set to work, their ancient forges aglow with otherworldly flames. They did not use iron or steel, nor any material known to gods or men. Instead, they gathered 6 impossible ingredients, each one a marvel and a secret of the world. The sound of a cat's footfall, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear, the breath of a fish, and the spittle of a bird. These were the components of their sorcerous creation. With incantations old as the earth and methods known only to their kind, the dwarves wove these ethereal elements together. The result was Gleipnir, a ribbon as soft as silk and as light as a puff of air, yet stronger than any chain ever forged. It was a paradox of power, a fetter that was unbreakable and yet bore no weight, a perfect instrument of binding that defied all logic and expectation. The dwarves presented Gleipnir to Hermother, who marveled at its delicate appearance and the hidden strength it contained. With the magical fetter in hand, he returned to Asgard, where the gods awaited with bated breath. The ribbon was passed among them, each god testing its strength and finding it beyond their understanding or ability to break. Now came the challenge of convincing Fenrir to allow this deceptively frail ribbon to be placed upon him. The gods knew that the wolf was no fool. He possessed a keen mind and a wariness that matched his strength. They would need to employ their greatest diplomatic skills and cunning to persuade Fenrir to accept the binding of Gleipnir. The stage was set for a confrontation of wits and wills, a test that would determine the fate of gods and the great wolf alike. The gods readied themselves for the task ahead, knowing that the outcome of this encounter would shape the destiny of all the realms. The saga of the Binding of Fenrir continued, and the tale of the crafting of Gleipnir would be a legend told for generations to come. The gods of Asgard gathered in the shadow of the great tree Yggdrasil, their faces etched with the gravity of the moment. Fenrir, the mighty wolf, was brought forth, his eyes gleaming with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. The gods presented Gleipnir to him, the magical ribbon that seemed too delicate to hold any creature, let alone a beast of his formidable strength. Fenrir's gaze narrowed as he regarded the silken band, his instincts warning him of deceit. He knew the gods feared him, and he sensed their trepidation. If this was their attempt to bind him, it must possess power far beyond its frail appearance. The wolf declared that he would consent to the test of the ribbon only if one of the gods placed a hand in his mouth as a pledge of good faith. If the ribbon proved to be a trick, the god would pay with their hand. The gods hesitated, their immortality suddenly feeling fragile. It was Tyr, the brave god of war and Fenrir's erstwhile companion, who stepped forward. With a solemn nod, he placed his hand between the wolf's formidable jaws. The other gods bound Fenrir with Gleipnir, wrapping the ribbon around his legs and body. As they tightened the fetter, the wolf's muscles flexed and strained, but to his astonishment, he could not break free. The magical binding held fast, stronger than any chain forged by hand or spell. Realizing the betrayal, Fenrir snapped his jaws shut, and Tyr's hand was lost. The gods recoiled from the fury in Fenrir's eyes, but their task was complete. The great wolf was bound, his rage and power contained until the day of Ragnarok. The gods had secured their safety, but at the cost of trust and honor, and Tyr's sacrifice would be remembered as a testament to courage and the heavy price of fear. Thus, the binding of Fenrir was accomplished, a tale of deception and bravery woven into the fabric of the sagas. A reminder of the lengths to which the gods would go to protect their dominion and the destiny that awaited them all.